Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Shadow Dragon here. Today's video is going to be a short little top 5, and we got a couple honorable mentions here as well. So I'm not going to waste any time, we're going to get right into it. So the best loadout I think right now, and this is not including the snake shots or the X13 because either we're going to be playing with them for the next 2 weeks or they're going to get nerfed here really shortly, so I'm not including them on this list for that reason. So the top loadout right now to be running, if you are not running those and everybody else is and destroying you, is the Lockman sub. If you mix in one headshot, the TTK out to like 9 meters is like 525 milliseconds. Other than that, it's like a straight 600, so it is the fastest killing SMG. So we got the X10RR suppressor to extend out our damage range and give us a little bit added bullet velocity so those shots feel better. We have the Lockman TCG10 rear grip, which we tune for aim down sight. Now we would tune for sprint to fire speed as well, but unfortunately, when you go to tune it, it literally doesn't do anything. It just hurts it. So, and then we got the 7 milliwatt laser tuned for sprint to fire speed and aim down sight speed. The Falcon barrel tuned for aim walking speed and aim down sight speed. And then that's that. And then the Cronin Squall currently has the fastest long range TTK. It's like 40 meters. It's like just shy of like 800 seconds or something like that. I could be wrong. Go ahead and go to truegamedata.com or sim.gg and check for yourself. But that's with no added attachments. So we get the SD recharge tuned with the farthest eye position, the aim down sight speed, 50 round drum. F-Tac Ripper tuned for recoil stabilization and aim walking speed. I don't. I believe when they went through and they changed everything, this is one of the attachments that they changed. Because when you try to tune for aiming idle stability and make it go as far, as you can, it literally doesn't do anything. Look at it. Watch the bar. It literally does not move. So at that point, we just do aim walking speed and recoil stabilization. I feel like the SA leveler is the best compensated for this gun because the recoil goes like up a little bit and then starts veering off to the left. So you want to get rid of that horizontal recoil control. You could use the what is it on this one? The TIE LR8, which is all horizontal. It's 27% horizontal, 10% or 7% vertical. But I like to have this one because it's 23.5% and then like 13.5% for vertical. So I like to use that one so we can have as minimal recoil as possible. And then we have the HR 6.8 barrel tuned for recoil steadiness and for damage range. So that's our top killing loadout. Next is going to be the MX9. Not not the most viable gun. Said it before. If you play tight with your squad and you can knock somebody and then have somebody push forward for you, and then you can take back and get a reload. If you hit all your shots, you can knock 2 people with this. And then you just run throwing knives, get the thirst, so you can get your reload off. But it does have the second fastest TTK when it comes to mixing into headshot. It's like 549 milliseconds, I believe, something along those lines. It does a lot of extra damage to the head. It has a high headshot multiplier. So we built this one straight up for speed, though. So we got the 32 round mag, 'cause it's the biggest mag. Bruin Q900 grip, recoil steadiness to get a little bit consistency, and then sprint to fire speed. The F-Tac 11 riser tuned for recoil steadiness and or stabilization and aiming down sight speed. I don't mind the iron sights on the AUG; it's not that bad. So we go VLK laser tuned for sprint to fire and aim down sight, and then we got the Bruin S901 barrel tuned for recoil steadiness and for damage range. And then the TAC V or Scar H 50 round drum. This is the iron sight build. If you want to run it with a sight, you could drop the combat grip because it gives you 7% recoil control as opposed to the lock grip precision, which gives you 9% recoil control. But we'll just go over this build and its recoil steadiness and aiming idle stability. And then high velo tuned for, well, we were tuning for damage range because it used to matter, but apparently it does not matter anymore. So we are going to tune for recoil. And then we go lock grip precision, hit recoil, and aim down sight. And then the GH50 recoil stabilization and recoil control. And that's your second fastest killing loadout. I don't remember the exact numbers for the TAC V. I think it's like 915 milliseconds out at like 50 meters, and that's cool. My game just decided they wanted to fucking boot me from the thing, so give me a second, guys. I apologize for that. Fucking stupid game. And now we got the FSS Hurricane. Now this doesn't have, this has a faster TTK than the ISO. Um, it's like 602, so it's literally by 1 millisecond. But this thing, I feel like the movement speed on this is just ridiculous, and it felt really, really good when I was playtesting it. Um, so, and I might make a dedicated video for this gun too. So what we do is we got, you know, the stock 50 round mag because it uses the P90 mag. So we use the Phantom grip, which this hurts your recoil more and your flinch resistance, but it doesn't really affect you as much as people think it does. And for whatever reason, it's not. Yeah, there we go. So there we go. So that's how we tune that. And then the demo Quicksilver stock, aim down sight, aim walking speed. All of the lasers, sprint to fire, and aim down sight speed. The cannonade barrel, recoil steadiness, and aim down sight speed. But honestly, this is the route I think that you should go. Is aim walking speed and aim down sight speed. And then the Lacerda compensator for the horizontal shake that you get with it. And then you just tune for aim down sight and recoil control. And then we got the Kastov 762. This gun still hits like a truck. Um, if you wanted to, with this build, um, you can drop the 762 high velocity, throw on the ZLR Talon, and then put the 40 round mag on. But the fire rate's so slow and it hits so hard that I don't think it's necessary. I think you could get away with it just the way it is. So we got high velo tuned for recoil, the F-Tac Ripper tuned for aiming idle stability, which we now need to move over here, and then recoil stabilization, the Tempest GH50, because if you look at the recoil for this gun, it's basically straight up and down. So recoil stabilization and recoil control of the tunes, and then the CAS 10 barrel, which gives us added damage range, which extends off that dropout, bullet velocity and recoil control, tune for recoil steadiness and for damage range. And then we have the SZ recharge, tune for aim down sight in the farthest eye position to mitigate the visual recoil. So that's our third best loadout. Here's number 4. It's the ISO 45. This is the same build that I've had forever. 45 round drum, the demo fade tac, tuned for aim down sight and walking speed. VLK laser, tuned for sprint to fire and aim down sight speed. And then we have the PX9 trainer, tuned for aim walking speed and aim down sight speed. And then the XRK Sandstorm, tuned towards aim down sight and recoil control. This gun still hits like a truck, and it still has really good movement as well. It's still a really good option for the SMG category. Now, this gun surprised me. I thought there was going to be way more recoil than there actually is. And the recoil is, for the most part, straight up and down. So, but we got the AMOP V4 on this one, tuned for aim down sight in the farthest eye position. The Lockman TCG10, tuned for recoil steadiness and aiming idle stability. High Velo, tuned for recoil. The F-Tac Ripper, tuned for recoil steadiness and for aim walking speed. And the Tempest GH50 tuned for recoil stabilization and recoil control. So the reason this is fourth and not closer, because it does kill really fast, is strictly because it's slow. It's just obnoxiously slow. But it hits real hard and it kills fast, so makes up for it in that department. Just make sure you know when to hit your reloads, and you'll do fine with this gun, I promise. And number 5 is going to be the HCR 56 and the Vaznev 9K. Both really good, and especially after the changes, it's also very, very good. So we get the SC recharge, as always, ADS and farthest side position with the high velocity, which we do tune for recoil. This is my old build from before all the changes to everything. There we go. An F-Tac Ripper, once again, didn't do anything, so. And then we got the Harbinger D20, tuned for recoil smoothness and bullet velocity. And initially I was against having the barrel on there because it hurts the damage range. But this gives us added bullet velocity and recoil control, and the hit to the damage range is only like 4%, I think. But the recoil control it offers is absurd. So it was worth the thing. Plus, like I said, it gives us added bullet velocity. So like this build itself has like over, I think it's like 1,200 bullet velocity or something like that. So tuned recoil steadiness and for damage range. Um, Initially, yeah, we didn't use the Hornet barrel and we used like a rear grip, but this just offers too much recoil control for us not to use it. So, and then we have the Vaznev 45 round mag, true tack grip for recoil steadiness and sprint to fire. I actually don't use the broadside anymore. I did a little bit more research and it doesn't do as much as um, it used to do. So we go for the aim walking speed and ADS speed on that. The OLV laser is always sprint to fire, aim down sight speed, and then the SA response 3. I think I've explained this to you guys before. Um, for me with this, it's just it's a preference thing. The Kaz one barrel is the better of the two barrels, and it is the one that I recommend you use. This is my personal preference because I don't like the way that the operator wraps his thumb around the top of the barrel. So like for me, it's just a visual thing, and it bothers me. So, but yeah, I use this barrel over that one. It'll be tuned the same, aim walking speed, aim down sight speed. So that's the top five, but I do have a couple more guns for you I wanted to include in this. So this is going to be our sixth and one of our honorable mentions. The MP7's in a very good place, especially if you can hit headshots with it. It does kill pretty quick. It has like a 6.0, like a low 600s TTK with headshots and a high 600 TTK with no headshots. It's just in need of like a slight buff in my opinion. But we got the combat grip, which we tuned for actually, we don't use the combat. Oh, yeah, we do. We tune it for aim down sight and sprint to fire. Demo RXT stock tuned for ADS and aim walking speed. VLK laser, aim down sight and sprint to fire. And then the Lockman DX 203 millimeter barrel gives us a little bit increase in damage range and bullet velocity, but the big thing is the recoil control, which makes it feel way, way, way better. It makes it feel way steadier. So we tune for aim walking speed and aim down sight speed. And then this is old reliable, the MG38. This thing just shoots straight, hits hard. Uh, its aim down sight speed is 2 to 3 business days, but it with the ghost changes that they did to everything, this thing actually caught a buff and is actually very, very good at range. At like 60 something meters out, its TTK is under 1,000. So that's better than it was because considering it was over 1,000 before that. But for this one, we used the Lone Wolf and we tuned for flinch resistance in the farthest eye position. 7.62s tuned for recoil. F-Tech Ripper, aim walking speed and recoil stabilization. Polar Fire S tuned for aim down sight and bullet velocity, and then the Bruin Silver Series barrel tuned for recoil steadiness and aim down sight speed. Um, One thing you could theoretically do to speed this bad boy up a little bit is to get rid of the high velo because you already have pretty good bullet velocity between these two attachments, and put on the FSS OLV laser so that way you can increase your decrease your ADS time by like 10%. So um, that's always a thing that you could do as well. But yeah, that loadout in particular is just really good. And then the other two honorable mentions aren't like a loadout together, and you can mix and match these. There's no set way to play these. I just put them that way for the top killing things according to J God's Excel spreadsheet thing that I screenshotted. But we got the Lockman 762. This is the full auto build, and this thing is disgusting. Like I'm talking like a sub 500 TTK at close range, and then like all the way out to like 40 something meters. You're killing in under 800 milliseconds. It's like 720 something milliseconds. It's ridiculous. Um, really good for Ashika Island or Vondel. Not so good on the big map unless you really get control of that recoil. Um, in that case, then yeah, you definitely can use it there. I will say that when built correctly, and I can do a video on this separately. Actually, one of my older videos where I was sniping, I was using the Lockman 762 as a sniper support. It does make an excellent sniper support because when you're focused on that close to, let's say, 25-30 meter range, the recoil is very manageable and you can hit your shots. Especially you get more aim assist because your target's hitbox is bigger at that point. So you just strafe and shoot, and the recoil doesn't seem so bad at that point. Um, but this is for quote unquote long range. So we got the AIM-OP V4 tuned the same way we always do. I don't know why that's all the way up there, but farther side position, F-tap gripper, aim walking speed, recoil stabilization, 50 round drum, the TIE LR8 for horizontal recoil control, and we tune it to match those, and then the Lockman wrap barrel. Actually, we don't. Is that the one? Yeah, it is. See, on this one it says just recoil control and bullet velocity. Um, but when you go in to tune it, it says recoil control, damage range, and bullet velocity. So you just tune it for the recoil steadiness and the damage range. Um, and then the other one is the AK-74U. So this gun caught a pretty significant buff. It used to be worse than the Chimera, but they nerfed the Chimera and they buffed this gun, the 74U. And now this thing is disgusting. And this is my sniper support build. So the Demo X2 tuned for aim down sight and sprint to fire, the Atrazat stock tuned for ADS and aim walking speed, the B209 barrel tuned for aim walking speed and aim down sight speed, and then the Castle comp tuned for recoil control, 45 round mag. Now, um, they finally gave us the last barrel too, which increases the damage range pretty significantly. And since this thing already has really good damage range, like we're talking, this thing gets like a stupid fast TTK all the way out to like 31 or 32 meters or something like that with this barrel, and it gives us better bullet velocity. So I do have a build that uses like a compensator to mitigate the recoil, and then that barrel, and then high velo, 45 round mag, and optics. I could treat it more like a long range weapon, and that's how I'm going to get this thing platinum when I do try going for that. But so that's this build, and that'll essentially do it for today's video. These are the honorable mentions, and I hope you guys enjoy the video. Always looking to keep you guys up to date with all the builds and the meta here. So if you're not using the X13 autos or the Basilisk snake shots, use those. Not only does it give you the extra perk slot, but you can't beat them at close range, period. So just just use those. But once they finally get nerfed, this looks like for close range, this looks like it'll be the meta. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure you leave a like, comment, tell me which loadout's your favorite, what are your favorite guns, what are you using. Um, have you been enjoying Warzone here lately? I've been experiencing a lot of lag in all my servers, even with a wired connection. So I don't know. I haven't really been wanting to play it much. But if you're new here, make sure you subscribe and hit that bell icon so you get notices when I post new videos. I like to do loadout videos, and I aim my builds more towards casual players. Um, um, and then I also do like gameplay, just me showing off and getting a bunch of kills and plunder and what's it called, lockdown, which is what we have for the next week and a half. So yeah, just make sure you join up. And I got a Discord um, and a Twitch channel. I'll link those both in a pinned comment. So definitely check that out and join. Let's build ourselves a large community. But yeah, anyways, that'll do it, and I will catch you guys in the next one.